My childhood was not leave it to Beaver. It was very dysfunctional. There was a lot of alcohol abuse. I do remember the first time I got drunk. I was 9 years old. I remember it was somebody had gotten married and I got to drink a glass of champagne, and I was on top of the world, and I remember begging for more. I think I really started actively drinking when I was probably around 12, skipping school, smoking cigarettes, smoking pot. I followed in the footsteps. They say the cycle repeats of, addiction and dysfunction, and I followed that cycle. So my whole life was basically just, I was drunk my whole life. It's a blur. Couldn't hold a job. One bad relationship after another. It wasn't until I got pregnant at 27, and that's when it started clicking that I didn't want my kids to grow up and live the same way that I did, and I didn't know how to change that. As much as I tried, I always ended right back up with, in the same relationship and still drinking. And it wasn't until I lost my children, I lost custody of them when they were young. I think Kayla was probably 3, Haley was around 1, and that God knew that's what it was going to take to get my attention. That was my bottom. I was picked up by a bail bondsman, and he had a friend with him, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and the guy turns around and, what happened? Why are you in this position? And, and I was mad and angry, and he just looks at me and says, "You need Jesus." And it was like, I quit ranting. I was calm. I didn't realize what was taking place. I didn't cry. I just went to jail and did my time, and went to church, in what they call it, the jailhouse salvation. Went to little services in there, and kind of stayed to myself, and I got out. I went to the rescue mission, and went to First Baptist downtown, and that's where I met Suzanne Farrar, and was in her Sunday school class, and those group of ladies made a huge impact on my life, and helping me learn more about Jesus and just how to be a Christian. During this time of going to church, I got involved in the Most Excellent Way, which is it's a Christian AA or NA to help you overcome addictions, whatever the addiction is. It was very hard learning how to live sober and to not be high, not to fall back on those old habits, especially when I knew the situation that I had left my kids in was not a good place for them. It would have been very easy for me just to go right back to drinking. So it was really hard to just keep going, keep doing life, and keep fighting. And that's what it was, fighting. Just fighting to keep my head above water, and fighting to get my life together, and fighting for my kids. My whole mission was getting my kids back and giving them a different life. And so that's what I did. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. Just kept plugging along. And, it took 2.5 years to get my kids back. I've had them back for 9 years now. During all of this, me trying to get my children back and going to court and doing all of this, God moved mountains in my situation. It blows my mind at how He moved and how I got my girls back. And it's because He knows my heart. And my heart is to give my children a different life and give them a better life. I don't want them to go down the path that I went down. There were so many times in my life that I wanted something different. I didn't want to drink anymore. I didn't want to fight anymore. I wanted our relationship to be better, whoever I was with at that time. But nothing ever changed. It always went back. And my life only changed, truly changed, when I accepted Jesus. I mean, that's the bottom line. Jesus is the answer for everything. It doesn't mean that my life is easy. It doesn't mean that my life is perfect. I am far from it. But that's how I get through life. That's the only way to get through life. While I was in jail, it was probably like the first or second day that I was there, I was walking by and there was some ladies sitting on one of the bunks, and there was a picture drawn with a person in a jail cell, and the little bubble above it said, "Do you hear me now, God?" And that was kind of one of those moments where you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, I think I hear you. So yes, I did hear God, and I listened, and He's changed my life, and He can change your life. I know what my life was like before Christ, and I know what my life is like after Christ, and I will never go back.